Is it fair to put the Eagles' struggles on Hurts? And I put struggles in quotes.
Because they have the best record in the NFC.
So it's kind of the whole thing is kind of
8-2. They're really struggling. Look, Jalen Hurts is not beyond reproach. And he's not on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks in the league right now. So I'm not trying to act like he's been perfect and all that. But my answer to this question is no. And here's why. What they do last year? They won the Super Bowl. Here are Jalen Hurts' numbers last year compared to this year. Better passer rating this year. Touchdown to turnovers. Look at the pace at the bottom. He's on pace for 37 touchdowns and 5 turnovers. That's half the turnovers last year and more touchdowns. Yards per game passing is actually better this year, and then yards per pass attempt is a little bit lower. So he's playing better statistically this year than he was last year. So why would we put the whole offense on the struggles on him? Because you know who's not playing as well as they did last year? The offensive line and Saquon Barkley. And here are their numbers, or Saquon's numbers. I mean, half the running yards from last year. Yards per attempt, 4 is standard. You got to get 4 yards per attempt. He's not getting that. And he's on pace for 7 touchdowns. He had 13 last year. And so Saquon and the offensive line are kind of getting a pass.
What makes you say the offensive line's worse?
Well, I think because of the injuries. Okay. And I think also Saquon last year was getting, 3.5 yards before even contact. So I think the offensive line is definitely not as good. It's still highly ranked by Pro Football Focus and people like that. But so the O-line and the run and Saquon are really getting a big pass, I feel like. And again, I'm not saying none of it's on Hurts. Some of it's on him too. But it is, and I think the people complaining, everybody's reported it's more than the receivers, which I believe. I'm sure there are other people. But a lot of it is just the receivers wanting to put up numbers. I think, Nick, if you didn't have the star caliber receivers they have who want to put up numbers, and I understand that, I don't know if this would be that much of a concern.
But if you didn't have star receivers, it would be more understandable that the offense has not been effective. The team has been great. The offense has not been effective.
It's been effective because they couldn't be 8-2 if the offense wasn't effective.
Well, I mean,
they scored 33 against the Rams. They scored 31 against Tampa Bay.
They have had these pops of high scoring games, but on a down-to-down basis, game-to-game basis, I believe the offense is underachieving its talent level.
Well, I would agree with that.
Right, and so if you had no-name wide receivers, then the talent level that you expect to achieve to would be different. But you have excellent wide receivers. I disagree. The only thing you said there that I firmly disagree with is I think the offensive line's been excellent again this year.
Excellent. You're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been one of the best offensive lines in football. Now,
it has not.
Lane Johnson, not having Lane Johnson could change that, but he just went out.
So you put the running woes completely on Saquon.
No, I think that it could be excellent and still not as good as it was last year. So you know what I mean? Because I think last year was probably the best or second best in football, and this year call it 5th or 6th. And a lot of it is on the wear and tear on Saquon. I do think that. But certainly pass blocking, I am not watching Philly and like, man, Jalen Hurts under duress.
That's right.
If that's your genuine perspective, then you are categorically not observing the Philadelphia Eagles with any degree of objectivity. Goodness gracious. I am on the verge of an absolute meltdown. I am genuinely about to lose my composure over this. Let's just lay this out. I presented this data in a previous video of mine. Just take a look at the current pass block win rate for the Philadelphia Eagles. It sits at a paltry 62%, which ranks them a dismal 19th in the entire league. This metric is arguably the most straightforward, black and white statistic we have in professional football today. Let me explain how it functions. Pass block win rate measures one thing. Does the offensive line prevent the pass rush from reaching the quarterback within 2.5 seconds or less? That's the entire criteria. It does not account for situations where a quarterback, like Jalen Hurts, holds onto the ball for 3 seconds or longer and then faces pressure. It is strictly a measure of whether a defensive player can defeat his blocker and generate pressure within that 2.5-second window. An offensive lineman is credited with a win if he sustains his block for 2.5 seconds or more. Now, let's talk about who actually has a superior offensive line. Nick Wright has been vocal in his critiques, often defending Patrick Mahomes by citing offensive line issues. Well, Patrick Mahomes enjoys a pass block win rate of 70%, which places his unit fourth in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles are at 62%. That is an 8 percentage point chasm. You can spare me this absolute, unsubstantiated nonsense. Consider the Green Bay Packers, 70%. The Denver Broncos, 70%. The Chicago Bears are at 73%. The Buffalo Bills are even higher at 74%. Let that sink in. The Arizona Cardinals possess a better pass block win rate. The Atlanta Falcons have a better pass block win rate. The Baltimore Ravens are superior. This is sheer madness. The Dallas Cowboys have a better pass block win rate. The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Rams, and the New York Giants all outperform the Eagles in this fundamental category. We have collectively lost our minds. We have reached a point where we are simply fabricating narratives out of thin air. Would you like to know the percentage of pressures per pass attempt that Jalen Hurts is currently enduring? It is over 45%. For Matthew Stafford, that figure is 36%. For Dak Prescott and Baker Mayfield, it hovers around 36 to 37%. What in the world are we even discussing here? Are we now going to brazenly invent facts and claim that this Eagles offensive line has been performing adequately? No rational person who has watched the games could possibly believe that. Greg Cosell, a respected film analyst, has been breaking down the tape. When people ask, what's wrong with the run game, and suggest, there's something off with Saquon Barkley, he corrects them, stating, no, the offensive line isn't creating any running lanes. There are no holes opening up. He has explicitly pointed out that players like Jordan Mailata have not been performing to their usual standard, and that Lane Johnson, while still good, is part of a struggling unit. It is utterly unbelievable the extent to which we will contort reality, downplay obvious facts, and openly disrespect Jalen Hurts. We are willfully refusing to acknowledge that this offensive line has been subpar. This is proven both by simply using your eyes to watch the games and by referring to statistics. Very basic, unambiguous statistics. It is unbelievable. It is truly, utterly unbelievable. We're not even bringing coaching or other external factors into the equation at this moment. The sole focus, it seems, is to place the entire burden on Jalen Hurts. This has reached a level of insanity. We have completely lost our grip on reality. Let's listen to what Greg Cosell has to say. When asked to identify the primary reason for the Eagles' offensive struggles, what does he pinpoint? Remember, Greg Cosell is not someone known for being a staunch defender of Jalen Hurts by any means. Let's hear his analysis. Audio clip, Greg Cosell. The number one issue to me is the offensive line. And I hear people who know better start with this predictable stuff. You know what happened in 2024? The Eagles' offense was really predictable in 2024. But the O-line created a lot of big holes for Barkley. And he ran through some big holes in a very predictable run offense. There's not 1,000 running plays. It has to be blocked at the point of attack. So, the number one issue is the O-line. Audio clip continues. How about some more? We're going to see Jordan Mailata on a run, who I believe is the culprit here. Yes, he missed him. He missed him. All these things sort of snowball. When things are great, everything looks great and everybody plays well. When they start to snowball, guys you never expect to have a bad rep, it all just starts to snowball. The offensive line is not playing anywhere nearly as well as it did last season. You have that stat whereas 4 yards before contact last year, which is incredible. It's 0.87 right now. So you're talking about less than 2 yards before contact. That's an offensive line issue. That's the biggest thing you can isolate right now and say what's different, just not playing as well. But according to some, it's excellent. It's top tier in the NFL. This is news to everyone, apparently. I just cannot comprehend this. I have another video I was planning to use. Initially, when I saw this particular clip circulating, I decided not to watch it in advance. I wanted to experience it live, right here with all of you. Obviously, I knew the general topic was about the Eagles, so I was mentally preparing my thoughts. I had also come across a different clip, where I only heard the first 10 seconds of Dan Orlovsky talking about how it's so disingenuous and disrespectful to Jalen Hurts. I thought, all right, I don't want to watch that one yet. I'll watch this clip live and make a video about it. I considered playing the Orlovsky clip afterward, but I've decided to keep that separate. I'll probably post that as a distinct video later this week. I'm saving it because I am just astounded by the sheer distortion of reality we are currently witnessing. It is breathtaking. It is absolutely positively breathtaking. It really is. It's breathtaking. And it's ironically amusing to hear Greg Cosell mention the predictability of the Eagles' offense even back in 2024, but note that the players were simply good enough to overcome it. Isn't that in itself a remarkable feat? Does anyone label Sean McVay's offensive scheme as predictable? Does anyone accuse Andy Reid's system of being predictable? What about Kevin O'Connell's or Kyle Shanahan's offenses? Are any of those systems widely described as predictable? No, of course not. So, let me ask you this. Is it more challenging for an offense to look proficient and secure victories when the opposing defense has a strong inclination of what you're going to do? That seems to be precisely what former Eagle Darius Slay was alluding to when he discussed why it's so difficult for A.J. Brown, suggesting he isn't schemed open with creative play designs and pre-snap motion in the same way teams scheme for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or how Andy Reid creates easy throws for Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy. They're consistently wide open. You see a player like Juju Smith-Schuster standing alone in a zone, with the nearest defender literally watching the game from his couch at home. And yet, the narrative persists that the Eagles want Jalen Hurts to throw into tighter windows, and that this is the core of the problem. So, according to this flawed logic, the offensive struggles, and even the significant issues with the run game, are all on Jalen Hurts. The offensive line is apparently blameless. If you watch these games and don't see Jalen Hurts running for his life, then you are not actually watching the games. You are seeing what you want to see. Some of the most impactful plays Jalen Hurts has made this entire season have occurred when he was forced to escape the pocket and make a throw on the run, against the Minnesota Vikings, against the Detroit Lions, against the Green Bay Packers. What are we even talking about right now? Let's take Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. It was a true standalone game. No other NFL contest was played that day. It was the game, the Philadelphia Eagles. There is no conceivable excuse for any serious football analyst to have missed it. The insanity is evident in the numbers from that very game. In Week 1, Jalen Hurts was pressured 14 times. Patrick Mahomes was pressured 15 times. Baker Mayfield was pressured 15 times. These are quarterbacks whose offensive lines are consistently described as not that good. C.J. Stroud, whose line is often criticized, was pressured 14 times. And I can guarantee you that Jalen Hurts, because the run game was so ineffective, likely had fewer dropbacks. So he endured a similar number of total pressures, but on fewer passing attempts. Let's check. Yes. Jalen Hurts had 34 dropbacks. Patrick Mahomes had 47. Yet they faced nearly the same number of pressures. So who was pressured at a significantly higher rate? You do the math. Oh, that's right. Jalen Hurts. Understood. Makes perfect sense. It completely tracks. Furthermore, Jalen Hurts was forced to scramble 9 times. 9 times. Who had to scramble the most of any quarterback in Week 1? Jalen Hurts. We have collectively lost our minds, and this is just the data from Week 1. I deliberately selected that game because it was a standalone showcase. Everyone watched it. If you didn't, you're not a dedicated football fan. And if you're not a dedicated football fan, then I'm not entirely sure why you're watching this video from some random guy on YouTube. I don't know what you're doing here. First things first, go watch something else. Go watch people eating cheeseburgers in their cars, or whatever it is people do for entertainment these days. You can watch me eat a taco while I narrate how delicious it is. This is just utterly ridiculous. I am dumbfounded. I am left speechless. This is breathtaking. This is stunning. This is shocking. This is preposterous. This is pure insanity. We are drifting further and further from the objective truth with every passing day. This entire situation reminds me of something from my past, and I'll conclude with this. I was always fairly proficient at mathematics, but I was notoriously sloppy. I liked to race through problems. Back in algebra class, we'd have an exam, a white sheet of paper with equations we had to solve. My handwriting was chaotic, my work was disorganized, and I'd often get problems wrong out of sheer carelessness. It was incredibly frustrating. Finally, one teacher sat me down and said, "Listen, you're making a fundamental mistake early on in the equation, but then you're executing all the subsequent steps correctly." She explained that I was taking one incorrect number and plugging it into the rest of the problem. I was doing the later math right, but I was getting further and further from the actual answer, the objective truth, because of that initial critical error. Her solution was, "We need to get you lined paper. You'll be able to see your work better. You'll be able to write more clearly." Shout out to that teacher, whose name I unfortunately can't recall. My apologies. And she was right. With that simple tool, I could finally see what I was writing, keep my work organized within the lines, and everything clicked. It was a complete game changer. I started solving problems correctly and much more efficiently. I remember another occasion with a different professor. I went to him and said, "Hey, I find it much easier to use lined paper for my work. It helps me stay organized." His response was, "No, you can't do that. All answers must be written on this specific unlined paper." That individual was, by definition, a bad teacher. And that is precisely what we are dealing with in these football conversations. A viewer who is perhaps less informed tunes in and hears this narrative. They think, "Oh, okay. The Eagles' offense is actually pretty good. Oh, Jalen Hurts isn't under that much pressure. Yeah, that's not the real problem. He has excellent wide receivers, an excellent offensive line, an excellent defense. No, it's just that Jalen Hurts is the problem." And that conclusion is fundamentally false. When you challenge it with, "That's not true," the response is often, "Why?" And then I'm forced into a position of having to ask, "What do you mean, why?" It's as if I'm being asked to prove the sky is blue. It's also ironic because if I resort to showing game film, which is what everyone demands, show the film, then the criticism becomes that I'm cherry-picking specific plays. So, to counter that, I bring in other established experts, individuals who are paid to pore over every snap of film. What is their collective consensus after reviewing all the footage? I can't possibly show you 15 hours of offensive line tape here. This is precisely why we utilize metrics like pass block win rate. It is a binary statistic. There is no room for cooking the books. There's no caveat of, well, of course the O-line looks bad because Jalen Hurts holds the ball too long. This specific stat is designed to protect against that very excuse. It isolates the offensive line's performance in the initial 2.5 seconds of a play. And then, when you consult the opinions of those who are actually analyzing the film, what are they saying? The alignment is clear. This is just ridiculous. This is absolutely, certifiably insane. If you want a deeper dive, go watch my other video on this topic. I'll put a link in the comment section and pin it. Go check out that other video I posted. It's a lengthy one, about 40 minutes, so prepare yourself. But it's a comprehensive breakdown focusing on Jalen Hurts, the narrative around the unhappy receivers, and it's a solid piece of analysis. I need to post this video now. I need the Eagles community to rally right now. You all need to rise to the occasion. You need to show up in the comment section. I need to read your perspectives because I feel profoundly gaslit by the prevailing narrative. I know there will be a contingent of trolls in the comments, the usual detractors. We have one of the biggest trolls out there. He knows who he is and he even admits it. I know he's going to pop up. I won't even give him the satisfaction of saying his name. Goodness, man, situations like this genuinely short-circuit my brain because, logically, things need to cohere for me. I've told you all this before. If I cannot grasp the underlying logic, if I cannot connect the dots from the premise to the conclusion, I struggle immensely. I often reference this. When I'm discussing a complex topic with a friend, I'll say, "Hey, I'm thinking about this," and I'll ask him, "Is there a flaw in my logic here? Am I approaching this the wrong way?" It's not about whether I reach the wrong conclusion, but rather, is my foundational reasoning sound? When I encounter takes like the one we're discussing, it represents a fundamental break in logic. That is what causes me to short circuit. It's a cascade of wait. You are beginning the entire mathematical equation with the baseless belief that 1 + 1 = 11. And then you want to proceed through all the subsequent complex calculations operating under that fundamentally incorrect assumption. That is the definition of ridiculous. That is insanity. It truly is. It is breathtaking. Those are my exhaustive thoughts on this matter. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you believe it is fair to place the bulk of the offensive struggles squarely on his shoulders? Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or you couldn't disagree more, let me know. Let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some spirited debates. But ultimately, let's remember to have some fun with it all. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you become a part of it. I want to build something that we all feel genuinely connected to, something we're truly excited and proud to be involved in. I believe we are well on our way to achieving that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps with the video's visibility and the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.